Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Slicey Boy Sunday here on the High Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host here, the High Patriot. For today's episode, we are going to talk about a DC53 folding knife, as well as a couple other different blades that I got in the last couple days here. Well, I should say I got two of them in the last couple days. The other one I've had for a while, and I just forgot about where it was, and I finally found it today. So we're going to talk about that one as well, which is a Farius, I think that's what it's called. It's similar to the other one that we had before, that they put the price, like originally when I bought that one, it was like 12 or something, and then they jacked the price of that up to like 40 or something crazy, like that's what it was, but this is a different one from that same company. Obviously this for sale is the DC53. This is an interesting box this came in, by the way. I think this was right around 20 bucks actually. And so yeah, it comes up in like that. And then you have this whole other box. Here's what it is, which simply pops up from the top like that. Inside of that, we got our for sale cleaning cloth. Got a little hex key certified thing, a couple different silica packets, and then the actual knife itself here, which is in a decent little package, honestly. So this is the first folding knife I've ever found that is made of DC53 steel. So that's the reason I bought it, basically. And it's a decent knife too. Could use a little bit of oil probably, but overall not a bad blade. It's got the little Hawkeye there, which I'm not really a huge fan of because it has a break point, obviously. Does say DC53 on it, so that's nice. Has a decent feel in the hand. Basically fits my hand pretty decently is what it is there. Definitely a sharp tip there is what it is. And I guarantee has a decent cut edge on it. Let's go ahead and actually try that right now. We got I'll use one of these clacking inserts, see if this will cut through the that hard ass clacking is what it is there. It should easily just slice right through this. Yeah. It's almost cardboard too, so that's a decent cutting edge for sure. But anyway, that was the main attraction today, obviously. See if I can get the rest of that off there. It's got a little bit of shit on there now. Like I said, he's probably a little teeny bit old in there, but not much, because it definitely doesn't want to do a complete fling open like it needs to. And that's unfortunately with a lot of these companies, what they'll tend to cheap out on is not putting enough oil in there, just not putting any oil in there at all, really, in a lot of cases. Like I know I've seen that with a lot of the EMTHIIs quite a bit, where they'll just basically leave it and it'll have nothing in there. And then it has like a really bad issue with opening them, especially with their what do you call them now? With their oh God, I'm trying to think of what they're called now. The not the fixed blades. It would be their crossbars. Axis lock knives, what you're gonna call them there. So, but this is a different company entirely. So, other ones I want to talk about today would be this Favor. I think that's how you pronounce it. This came in the other day. It's a pretty decent little blade. And it was only, I want to say this is either 12 or 13. I think they're 12, and they're like 11.90 or something for these. So nice little G10 scales on there. This is supposed to be, I believe, D2 steel on here. Man, that is hard to open. Oh. I see why. It's probably hard to open because there's like a weird... Yeah, they shoved like a piece on the bottom there is what it is. For the actual tip, so this might be... Oh my god. This is not even open at all. That is not good. I have a second one of these, but this is the other one I got. I think this is the one I got in today, actually, that was sitting outside for like a bunch of hours. Yeah, that is not wanting to come loose for some reason. I think they shoved it in too deep is what it is. It's almost like I need to take another blade and pop that out of there. Alright, well, I'm not going to fool with that one right now. We'll just grab the other one that actually is in good shape still. This is definitely the second one that came in today. That is what it is. The other one that I had the other day was not like that at all. It was very easy to open, which is this guy right here that had a little bit of a bust in the outer edge. There's what it is. So I'm gonna pull this guy out instead. Is what it'll be. There we go. Yeah, and this one actually came quite oiled up right there, if you can see. And it definitely, it's got the finger grooves for the hand, and it definitely fits my hand very well, honestly. The only difference between this one and the DC53 one is that this one does not have any jimping on the blade itself at all, anywhere, or even on the actual liner itself then. So, but do a slice test on this. I think this is D2, but it doesn't say exactly what it is on the blade itself. I'm pretty sure it is D2, so it has a decent cutting edge. I believe this was labeled as D2 on the thing, so I definitely think, given that this one, and I believe this one had a smaller little tip piece on it too there, so I think maybe that's what it is that it's not. This one was able to get out easier than the other one is, so I'll have to fool with the other one and see if I can't pop it out there if I do the case off camera. Which I end up just using a little flipper tab on this guy to try to knock it out of the other one is what it would be there. Hopefully it'll work. But that's the one thing I do like about these ones for only being like $12. They have a nice little flipper indent. And that's what most of them should have on it, honestly, is like that kind of size. And I say that specifically because when you start looking into these blades, the issue with a lot of the ones I personally have seen is that they do not have enough space on their little flipper pieces when it is there. And so what ends up happening is you don't have enough room if you have big hands like mine to where you think you're going to cut yourself when you like flip it or whatever, and it doesn't flip perfectly good is what it is then. So really it's just like for the bigger size people, we definitely need a better flipper is what it is right there. So got two other blades here. This is the one I was talking about earlier that I had not. I ended up misplacing it, and I finally found it today when I was doing stuff. Which is just one of these. I'm gonna say it's the Faris. I think that's how you pronounce the name of it. The company. There's an access lock, which has a bunch of little hole pieces. There is what it is, which is kind of. It's not the greatest, but it's also not the worst. I forget exactly what kind of steel this is on here. I want to say it might be a CR, like MOV or whatever, like an 8 or something maybe, somewhere in there. It's not bad, but it's not the greatest. I think these still are like 12 or 13 though on the on Amazon there, so they're not terrible priced. The other ones are terribly priced though. The ones that I got before that were like the really nice ones. That had the little, it was like a little G10 scale on there, and it was a liner lock, because those ones I bought for like 13 or 14. This has decent cutting edge to it though. But yeah, those other ones I bought for like 13, I think is what it was initially. And they jacked them up to like $40 a piece or something crazy like that. And I'm just like, dude, that is way too overpriced. Like, how do you ever think you're going to go from being like a $13 or $14 knife company to then jacking the price up to like $40? Like, that's just insane. Like, I would say maximum you should be going like 20, 25, honestly. Because, like, that's basically what that company is. It's like anywhere from like a $15 to a $25 blade is what it is there for what they're offering up there. So it would be then. And then finally, the last one we got today is a Olin's. The only thing I dislike about this company is, which I have ordered a different one from them recently that is a slight bit bigger, but for the most part, these ones are very small knives. Like, they're basically the size of the box. And the issue with that is when you have a knife that is as small as it is, like, these really, again, should be like maybe a $15 knife, not a 20-something dollar knife. Because when it's the size of my fucking index finger, literally, size of my index finger, and has a little baby tab right there, it is really hard to pop this open without doing two hands. That being said, it could be used as a decent little knife. It's a little D2 there is what it is. So I could actually see like taking this out camping and using this to like cut up a steak or something, or like a piece of chicken or something out in the wilderness. That would be the only reason I would have it with me, honestly, is because it would literally be like a steak knife or like some kind of protein that I'm eating. So we'll do a little cut test on this guy too and see how. Yeah, it's pretty sharp. Pretty decently sharp. I do like the scales on this though, quite a bit. That was the main reason that I ended up purchasing it, was because of that specific scale coloration on there. It's almost like a see-through G10 scale on there. The only thing I don't like is that these don't glow in the dark, because I would think they would, honestly, for what they are. But the fact they don't is kind of a little bit of an annoying issue is what it is. Kind of like my internet keeps going in and out like right now. I think my neighbor's having a Super Bowl party right now is what it is. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Just wanted to come on here and talk about these 4 blades and then discuss the differences, obviously. Like I said, I'm not sure what that Zafaris one is. I think it might be a D2, but it might be something else. Like a slightly lesser one. Like I don't think it's quite an Oz 10 or anything like that. I think it'd probably be like a 8CR MOV or something like that, probably would be my guess. But obviously this one is a D2. The Vever claims to be a D2, but doesn't actually say D2 on the steel, which I think that's the one thing about my issue with all these companies is it's like, I don't care how cheaply you want to sell this stuff for. If you're going to claim to be a D2 blade, like, how hard is it to like indent the D2 on the fucking blade? Or someplace on the knife, even for that matter. Like, you can even do it on like a scale or something like that. It's like, or just like indent in the scale or like pressed onto the scale like D2 or something like this would be then. So, because it just seems like kind of weird to me. But yeah, like I said, I really like this DC53. That was what it is. It's a really, really good knife. I'm probably going to start carrying that as a backup to my primary. Which is obviously my primary flipper right now, is the Flessa that has the window breaker on it. That was like 33, and I think that's a D2 if I'm not mistaken. And I have the DC53 as a backup. And of course, if I'm going to go out, anywhere, I'm just going to take one of my larger fixed blades with me is what it'll be then. Which I think eventually when I get a vehicle, most likely what I'll end up doing is I will keep a fixed blade, or a couple of fixed blades maybe, in the trunk of the vehicle. And then I will have I'll have like a small compartment or something, depending on what kind of vehicle I get, because I'm either going to have an SUV or a van probably. So I'd basically create like a small box in there or something. That would be like a lock box I could bolt into the floor basically. and then just have like a lock on it or something like that, and just have a couple of fixed blades, and that's what it'll be with some other stuff. So anyway, but yeah, on that note, that's pretty much it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this short and sweet one. I will be back. I also want to apologize for not doing Freedom Friday this week. I had like the last 72 hours, I've just been trying to get sleep, and just you guys can hear the trains outside right now is what it is. Yeah, like last night was just a fucking nightmare. It was midnight, and it was like 1:32. Then it was around 4 o'clock this morning, and then it was around 6ish this morning or 5:30 this morning, somewhere in there. And it was around 7 o'clock this morning, and then like 8, and then like 8:30. And yeah, they just have not stopped all day, man. I think there's been maybe a couple hours of downtime today where I was able to actually take a nap for real. But yeah, so far, like these trains for like the last 48 hours have been going off and on is what it is. And I really wish that the city here would make a fucking ordinance or something, dude, because, or even the state of Ohio would do something to put up some barricades or something, because there needs to be some soundproofing someplace around this area. When you got this many train tracks and like that's in that triangle pattern, like enough is enough, dude. Just do your fucking job and put up some things what it is there. So yeah, I was just trying to catch up on sleep, and I ended up missing Freedom Friday. That's what it was. So I figured I'd come on here today and just do a Sunday edition of Slicey Boy Saturdays, what it is then. So, but I will be back next week to our regular schedule, what it is there. I'll most likely do a grandstand next day or two is what it is, because I want to call out that piece of shit Mike DeWine personally. I also want to call out a couple other politicians too, for that matter. They need to be kicked out of the state house right now is what it is. And some people probably need to be kicked out of the entire race for the upcoming primaries too, for that matter, because they're also scumbags, cucking out to criminals or anti-gunners and stuff like that. So yeah, most likely either tomorrow or Tuesday afternoon, I'll probably do that. That's what it'll be. But until later, I'll see you guys in the next one. And then obviously we'll be back for Freedom Friday, this coming Friday, for real this time. But yeah, until later, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, stay safe, stay vigilant, always be carrying, always be situationally aware and all that good stuff. And make sure that you are always on alert, because it's when you get caught slipping is when you get killed. Later, y'all. Peace out. Bye.